Hey guys, this is Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, CEO of Reality of Wrestling, and you're listening to the Battleground Podcast. Now, can you dig that?
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Battleground Podcast. And today's an exciting episode, but real quick before we jump into who we're going to bring into the show, if you have a second, please make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. And also make sure you're following us on Instagram at Battleground Podcast, and Twitter is at Battleground IHR. And get this, we jumped into the 21st century. We now have our own website. So if you go to battlegroundpodcast.com, you can get a one-stop shop for everything. But let me go ahead and bring in my tag team partner. And there he is. I like that Legion of Doom hoodie. That is nice.
We decided to go with hoodies, it looks like.
I know. I almost wore my Battleground Podcast hoodie, which, by the way, you can get at whatamaneuver.net. But I was like, I looked in my closet and I was like, do I have anything that I could wear for today's guest? Do I want to go to eBay and spend $300? Because I did find a vintage shirt of our guest on eBay, and it was $500. And I was like, I can use that as a tax write-off.
Yeah, that's true.
I think let's bring him in. The five-time champion right there, Booker T. Oh, and by the way, two-time WWE Hall of Famer. Booker T is on the show. Booker, thanks for being here with us. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Feel good.
Man, I'm glad to have you on the show. And let's talk about what's happening. There's some big news is coming out. Reality of Wrestling's one night only live in Las Vegas. It is November 19th at the MGM Grand Conference Center Premier Ballroom. Of course, if you're nowhere near there, you can watch it on their YouTube channel for free. Go to youtube.com/reality of wrestling. But if you're around the area, or if you want to take a quick little weekend getaway, you can grab those tickets right now starting at just $15. Now, let me ask you this. What can fans expect to see in Reality of Wrestling's Vegas debut?
Man, just good wrestling, more than anything. Of course, you got the glitz and glamour of Vegas, but professional wrestling, old school, the way it used to be was, you and I, we have a problem and we got to settle it. Settle it in the square circle. Whether that be a ladder match, whether that be a cage match, whether that be a, no holds barred match. Oof. But I think that's what wrestling is all about. Going out there, suspending our imagination, but doing it from a perspective to where you go, man, this is really good. So that's what we're going to be bringing to Las Vegas on November 19th. The best young wrestlers in the country, and a lot of them, they start at Reality of Wrestling, and from there they go on to bigger and better things. But we just want to showcase what we do at Reality of Wrestling. We want to showcase our best talent. We want to reward those guys, too, that's been working so damn hard for literally the last 6-7 years trying to build this thing to where it is right now. And we're gonna reward ourselves in Las Vegas by showing the world exactly what Reality of Wrestling is truly all about.
For sure.
And Vegas is a huge entertainment city anyway, and it's got a long history with wrestling, so it sounds like a perfect match.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a crazy weekend. We got the Matt Storm Classic bodybuilding contest. We got the Crawford-Sean Porter fight going on, as well as we got Reality of Wrestling making its debut. There's going to be a lot of people in town. So if you are planning on coming in town, you better think about how those rooms going to be.
You're right, for sure. Because you better start booking now, because we were talking about this the other day, and we're planning on going to the Rumble in St. Louis, and I'm like, okay, we got to figure out what we're going to do. And then luckily, with WWE announcing SummerSlams in Nashville, I was like, hey, we ain't got to book no rooms. We can just stay at the house and drive.
Right.
Yeah. So we're excited just to be a part of the week. But there again, to show the world my guys, and then for the world to get a chance to see it on the YouTube channel. That's something really, really cool, because we just want to showcase our guys and show how good they really are. A lot of those guys start right there at Reality of Wrestling. I mean, I'm talking about truly are born at Reality of Wrestling, and a like never have been in a wrestling ring before, and then they find themselves headlining the show
Yeah.
in Las Vegas. So it's going to be a great night and a lot of memories. I always talk to the guys about the journey along the way, and this show in Vegas is just a small part of that reality of wrestling journey.
And it's going to be exciting stuff to watch November 19th. Again, if you're not, get to Vegas. Just make a weekend trip out of it. Get to Vegas. Tickets start at $15. But I know things are a little weird right now still with COVID and stuff going on. You can watch it for free on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/reality of wrestling.
Speaking of reality wrestling, so the school is ranked as one of the top wrestling schools, not only in the state, but in the country. What do you attribute the success as well as the industry reputation of reality of wrestling to? Is it the behind the scenes work ethic? Is it the talent you're able to bring in, the facilities, all of it?
And you know what? I think it's the science. We teach a science at Reality of Wrestling. We teach a philosophy, a thought process. There's no wrong way of doing it as long as you do it right. So,
Right.
That's a good point.
you don't have to do it like the next guy. It's one of those things. We teach there again, guys to figure out their playbook. Everybody works for one reason and one reason only, and that's to give the fans the ultimate night of entertainment. You can't, you got to be like the most selfish person in the world, but you can never be thinking for yourself. It's one of those type of deals.
Right.
So we teach a lot of thought process, and I think the athletics. I say we could teach a guy off the street how to go out and take a bump, but that's not gonna teach you how to do Shakespeare.
Right.
So we want to know the true art of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera. We want the curtain call. We want the the bow at the end of the night. We want the encore. We want the bravo, and all of that is the this is awesome. Booker T chants. That's all of that stuff right there. So just try to. I always say I don't have a wrestling school. I have a performing arts school, and go out and try to teach the best of it.
Right. And you've got amazing talent that we've seen on the roster. And recently we talked to somebody who had very, very high praise for you. And you might know her. Her name is Rok-C. You know Rok-C, who is the current Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. What was the first conversation like with her after she captured that gold? Because she told us that, she talks to you on the regular about her matches. And she kind of told us what she had said to you after she had won the match.
You know what? I tell you, I'm so proud of Rok-C. I got a couple of girls that's just that just shine like new money. Even right now, I got some of the best girls out there doing this thing. But to watch Rok-C, someone who who wanted to be the Reality of Wrestling champion when she was like 12. Okay, so she didn't want to be the WWE champion. She didn't want to be the TNA or the ROH champion. She wanted to be the Reality of Wrestling champion at 12 years old. And at 16 years old, she was the youngest Reality of Wrestling champion in our history since we've been in existence. So to watch her grow, though, over these past 3 years, it's been awesome, man.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of young girls, and this business is tricky. And I look at them like they're my own, also. And I before they leave, I always tell them, if you ever find someone out there, that's mentoring you, and they don't treat you the way I do, you give me a call.
Yeah.
And I'll handle it from there.
And
Okay.
that was what Rok-C was saying. She was like, I've trained with him for so long, and I always text him and ask him certain questions, and he's always right away firing back. How can I do this? How can I do this? And when we had her on the show, I was like, it's got to say something when a company gives you the title, but when the company gives you the title and makes you the youngest champion ever.
Yeah, at 19, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, but it just goes to her work, though. It doesn't happen by accident. And Rok-C, she's, like I say, she's grown. as far as from a little girl to a young woman, but her performance has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
To watch her go in the ring and work. It just like and I see myself a lot of times when I see her in there doing it. I mean, of course, I'm not a girl or anything, but I see a whole lot of me when she's out there working now because it's all about making it real as you possibly can to the fans, as well as entertaining them at the same time. Now, that's a very, very tricky, deal to balance right there if you don't know what you're doing. But
Right.
it just lets me though know that she's really listened to everything that I've been talking to her about along the way.
And of course, you're going to be able to see everything that Booker has told everybody about reality of wrestling. Of course, one night in Vegas, Friday, November 19th, MGM Grand. Definitely, if you're in the area, go buy those tickets starting at $15. If you're not in the area, here's what you need to do. Buy the tickets, still support them, and then watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/reality of wrestling. So
That's a great idea,
There
right?
you go. Yeah.
do it that way. So
Good,
support the
good,
show and then watch it. So if you can't make it to Vegas, what we'll do is I'll buy my ticket and then I'll watch it on YouTube. And then I can say, hey, I was there. Technically, sort of, kind of.
It's going to be a great night. Like I say, the main event is going to be Will all day. It was going to be Will all day and Cam Cole, but due to certain reasons, Cam Cole is out. But Danny Limelight steps in at the last minute, unexpected entry, and that's going to be an awesome, awesome main event. And the ladies, of course, triple threat action: Rachel Rose, Promise Braxton, and Alex Gracia. Which is another one who's stepping up and
Yeah, we've seen her in some
Alex,
bigger matches.
Alex,
Yeah.
Alex and Promise, as well as Rachel Rose. All three of these diamonds are in the rough, and they're about to shine in Vegas on November 19th. As well as, guys, you can do a show in Vegas without having the Disco Inferno host the whole show, man. So, guys, come on out, have some fun, and watch a great show. First and foremost, you're going to see some great wrestling, but you are going to see a damn good show. Not only those guys, you're going to see Mysterious Q, you're going to see Ryan Davison, you're going to see Edge Stone, who's carved out of granite, baby, as well as Brian Keith, the fastest kicks in the South. And you do not want to miss the Savage King. Oh my goodness. Savage King bringing his ladies and the whole entourage with him. So guys, Vegas, let's get ready to do it November 19th. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out.
Man, that's going to be some exciting stuff. And you mentioned Disco Inferno. Maybe can we throw this out there in the universe? Maybe a dance-off between him and Alex Wright? Get the Wonder Kid back?
Hey, man. Let me put out a call to Alex Wright and see if he's still. Last time I saw Alex Wright, he looked like he was 60 years old. He was bald. He looked bad. Inferno, on the other hand, he got that Italian blood running through him.
Oh, he looks like he's just started wrestling.
But he still looks great, man. He still looks great. He's one of my all-time rivals back in the day, going for the television championship. That's who I won the television championship.
Right.
Was the Disco Inferno. So could not have a party in Vegas without inviting a friend to, like I say, host the whole thing. And you might see the old Disco Inferno dance come out of the closet as well.
I'll never forget. We were at I think WCW had a show in Atlanta, and we were like driving through, and we stopped at Fuddruckers to eat, and Disco was in there just by himself, and like nobody was talking to him, and I was a kid at the time, and like nobody was talking to him, and I walked over and I said, "Hi, Mr. Disco, I'm a big fan," and that's how I said it. I didn't say, "Hey, Disco," or whatever. It was, "Hi, Mr. Disco," and I never took a photo, but I was just like, "This is the most like." Random meet and greet kind of thing ever. And then he went back to eating his burger, and I think he was looking at the script for that night's show.
It was probably after I beat him for the TV title.
Oh man,
there it is.
Well, so this is kind of a general, opinion of like what's going on in the world of wrestling, kind of a deal. Kind of bouncing off the Rok-C question. We did get some pretty interesting and potentially devastating news that Ring of Honor has released all their talent, and they're looking to revamp in 2022. So there's still hope that they're going to kind of resurface. What was your initial reaction to that news, and then what would your advice be to those superstars?
Oh man, those guys aren't going to have any problem getting work. They're gonna. I mean, there's so many independent shows going on every week. It's not ROH, of course. It's not that that glamorous thing that they had going on as far as
Mhm.
that love fest with that crowd and whatnot. That might change, whatnot. The pay that they were making, it may go down a little bit, but so for a lot of those guys, it's not going to go down. Overseas, there's so much work out there, so these guys, they're not going to have a problem as far as that goes. ROH, as far as those guys, revamping, regearing, coming back, trying to do something different. I really don't know what the game plan. I don't know what their money situation was. I know they had a nice deal with Sinclair for quite some time, and I know their television has been televised so many different places around the country. Everywhere, every time I'm somewhere late night in the hotel and I flip the TV on, ROH is on. So they definitely had a really good thing going, and I hate to see it go away. One thing about the loss for them. It's definitely going to be a game for reality of wrestling. We definitely will be able to keep those guys on television and keep them relevant as far as their faces being seen. We're not going to be able to pay those guys money like ROH or AEW or WWE or anything. And we're not looking for guys that's looking for that kind of pay either.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's get that out there.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to keep yourself relevant, be a part of something, get some knowledge, because I'm gonna tell you right now, so many young guys out there think they're better than they actually are. And if they just listen for a minute, they could be so much better. If someone out there that's looking for some knowledge and want to be a part of something for a minute, to, like my brother said, you do the job to the best of your ability to something better come along. We can't use you, but if you one of those type of guys, we're looking for those type of guys all day long. One of my girls from Tough Enough just texted me just last night, Chelsea Green. She said, Book, you're looking for some girls. I'm open. I got just, so it's going to be a lot of guys that want to be a part of reality of wrestling. In the door, we have an open door policy for young guys to want to come and be a part of something that don't, like I say, believe in their own hype, that don't believe in that they can't learn a little bit more about this business. But guys like that, we're looking for them all day long. Girls like that, we're looking for them all day long.
Again,
And there's a big Vegas show coming up,
that's what I was gonna say. There's the big Vegas show coming up November 19th, Reality of Wrestling. I mean, one night in Vegas, you never know who could show up. So of course.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of surprises. We've been getting hit up on Twitter and on social media like crazy. People wanting to be a part of this show, and that's our thing right there. We're trying to build something here, and we're going to need a lot of these young guys that's out there floating around to help us build it. To be a part of something, it has to be built first. We have the structure, we have everything in place. It's just about getting it out there to the world. And this Vegas show is going to be boom, our big I wouldn't say WrestleMania moment, but so to speak, because you are going to have a lot of unexpected entries. You are going to see things that you didn't expect. But on top of it, at the end of the night, if you guys out there that's watching, you guys out there that show up, say, man, this was pretty good. We'll see you next time.
And that's going to be definitely make sure you set yourself a reminder. It's a Friday night, November 19th, $15 starting at the door, $15 tickets starting at that. And if you can't make it to Vegas, youtube.com/reality of wrestling. And something that you've been really good at, and we follow you on social, we see everything that's going on, and you've been very vocal in your support of WWE since the inception of AEW. Now, you were a part of the big Monday Night Wars between WCW and WWE. Do you think that these two companies are in I guess, Monday Night Wars type of battle, or is this like a different thing altogether?
It's kind of a war, but it is different at the same time, because it's not a real war just yet. Just because AEW is not like touring or anything like that. They're not like doing house shows. The guys aren't working on that scale right there. And when that happens, the true light starts to shine, because guys start getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Guys start getting a little bit more bitter. Guys start
burn out. I'm sure
burn out. They want more money.
Mm-hmm.
If they so the structure right now is totally different. But as far as people buying into AEW. Man, you got a lot of people that like it, and the thing is, it's not a bad show. And some things could be better than others, but that's with any show.
Yeah.
And when you hear me talk about it, and sometimes it trends worldwide, um, it's only constructive criticism. You're never going to hear me say anything about anyone that I can't say to their face. And hopefully, when someone hear it, of any someone that's got any power, someone that's got any stroke, when they hear it, they go, maybe he's right. Maybe we might, so
Yeah.
because I'm thinking from a business perspective all the time, because I always say you never know how you will work things until it was yours.
Exactly.
That's true. Well, kind of bouncing off that, if let's just say Tony Khan invited you to his office, if you could give him one piece of advice just to kind of continue on their path of becoming one of the premier feds in the country, what do you think you would say just off the top of your head?
Man, stay totally, completely objective. And the only way you could do that is by being on the outside looking in.
Mm.
It's the only way great coaches can coach. You don't see player coaches these days, and it's for a reason. All right. So the coach, just like for me with reality of wrestling, I'm very rarely on the show, and and that's by design. Everybody on my show looks a certain way. That's by design. And for me, I'm thinking about that and that only, because that's the only way I can win, by being able to think about every. And when you play, I don't know if you're a chess player, if you play chess or anything like that. I do. And you got to be aware of every piece on your side and their side. And you got to move appropriately. Otherwise, it's going to be checkmate very, very quick. So I think from that perspective, and if I could tell them anything, think about playing chess.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Not
I
check-
like that
not-
one.
not checkers.
Yeah. Say that.
So we asked quite a few fans just to submit some questions for this, because this is a fun part of the show where we like to let people kind of be a part of the show that doesn't get to normally talk to their favorite wrestler. And I got one from our good friends over there at the Turnbuckle Tavern, and they wanted to know, we're in a great time for women's wrestling in the industry. Can you speak a little bit about working side by side with one of the true trailblazers in Sensational Sherri?
Oh man, Sherri was definitely well before her time as far as females in professional wrestling being able to go out there and do it the way she did. One that would throw caution to the wind, and was a really, really great at psychology as well. She was a real worker. I know for myself, I always put her on a pedestal, on a mantle so high, just because she was Harlem Heat's, what I call legitimizer. I don't think we would have been, what we were and who we were without Sister Sherri being right there at the front. Man, so many times, man, we tore it up and burned it up and left it in, like chaos. People just wanted to, just kill us, but it was so many great times. But she would definitely be proud of, the groundwork that she put down, as far as what we're seeing right now with the ladies going out there doing it the way they are. I'm definitely going to create a Sherri Martel classic, with reality of wrestling, sometime very, very soon. So be on the lookout for it.
Nice.
And
It's really cool to see legends like that kind of, finally start getting their due. And, you hear some of the modern superstars, they're quoting her as like she was a huge inspiration. So, better late than never. But yeah, I don't think she was appreciated as much as she should have been during her career. I mean, she was, like you said, way.
She was the best, but Sherri had her issues. She had her demons, and that's what we talk to young people about today. As far as, man, it's out there, and you got to be real. You can't. That's why I put my story out there, from prison to promise. I don't want anybody to think I'm perfect. I don't want anybody to think that they can't make mistakes and then overcome those mistakes and become great. They got to know it. They got to know the truth.
Right.
So that's what Sherri was all about. And I was there with her all the way to the end. And she was definitely, truly one of the great managers of all times, if not the greatest manager in the history of the business.
For sure. And I was like, I think it was maybe on TikTok or Instagram. I was scrolling through and they were talking about how Sherri was way ahead of her time. And it was I don't remember what match it was, but it was like her jumping off the steel cage into the ring.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Sherri, I remember Knobs threw her like 3 rows from the middle of the ring one night on a house show that we was working in. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I mean, I remember her slapping Jim Duggan so hard one night, he just stopped selling. It was like, man, I'm ready to kill him. So it's like, I mean, I've had so many times, so many great times with Sherri, and knowing, I knew I was around pure greatness. I knew that. And I knew how much better Sherri made me as a performer.
Right.
Man, that's awesome.
I'm excited about this tournament that you're going to do for her. That's going to be an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. I'm sure you've gotten asked this before in different ways, but it's always good to revisit. Who would you say are your top 5 tag teams of all time? And please, if you want to include Heat in there, that's where no
Harlem Heat.
We're not going to think less. That's they're a top 5 for sure.
I'm from a different era, and everybody have their Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
But top 5 tag teams for me, in this order, would be the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express. Man, it's hard. It's hard.
Like asking you to pick what your favorite kid is.
No, it's hard because it's like Harlem Heat. No, excuse me. No, I'm just playing. The Road Warriors, the Steiners, Harlem Heat.
Man, I'm okay with that.
Give me like a time machine. Let's build this as like a dream tournament. Maybe we take it for the Crockett Cup. That's what we're gonna call it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, me and my brother, we beat the hell out of the Rock and Roll Express, so they ain't gonna be a part of this.
No. I'll have to, when we hop off here, I'll have to show you my jacket. I got a Midnight Express jacket made, and
it was great, man. Those guys were great. They literally was guys that I watched. And the thing is, they weren't the biggest tag team out there. They weren't the guys that you see today that you might think are really, really great or anything like that. But those guys taught me what wrestling truly was, and how you go out and make the fans, put them in a frenzy, man, where they're like in blood, like a shark in blood. They really made me feel like God. I knew what it was. I knew it was entertainment since I was a little bitty boy.
And you still want to kill them.
But I knew how good these guys were at their work. And that's what, drove me to want to really be a really good wrestler, especially a tag team wrestler back in the day. And then to do singles, but it started with the Midnight Express feud with the Rock and Roll Express. Those guys, man, they literally made me suspended my imagination.
Yeah, and they seem to do like the little stuff really well. I mean, it was just the extra movement with the punch, or the way Bobby did his neck breaker. I mean, everything was just the little stuff. And like you said, I mean, they weren't Hulk Hogan. They weren't the huge jack guys. They didn't do the backflips, but I mean,
they were the guys that you would have a beer with, that your neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, that's their ring psychology.
Those guys will fight, man. That Rock and Roll Express, man. Those suckers, man. They will fight, man, like 2 little terriers, man. And
right.
The ultimate, the bad guys versus the good guys, and it was about, more importantly, at the end of the night, making the fans feel something that they haven't felt all night long. And they've been watching this stuff all night. Then those guys come out for the main event and make the fans like the popcorn going everywhere. It's just nuts, they
lose their minds.
Baby. Yeah. It's crazy, man. So for me, that's what wrestling has always been, and that's what I teach in reality of wrestling. That's what I try to instill into my guys, how to be able to still utilize that old school wrestling, but understand that we're in a hybrid era as well. I understand, we're not in 1979, and certain things back then definitely not going to work, but certain things do work. Be able to utilize that with what we do today, and you can really become a great wrestler. So I'm not one of those guys who's so stuck up and so old school to where I take away all of the young guys' freedom and ability to go jump off something. Because I tell them, you want to jump off something, go right ahead.
Yeah,
good.
that's
good.
all you. You can do that.
But I don't teach it, but it's good for TV.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
So,
Of course.
but all of the stuff that worked back then, some of it still work today. Mix it together. Let's see if we can make magic.
For sure. And of course, Magic is happening on November 19th. Reality of Wrestling, one night in Vegas. It's at the MGM Grand. $15. That's what tickets are starting at. Go ahead and buy your ticket. And also, if you would like to watch it, it's going to be free on YouTube, youtube.com/reality of wrestling. And I got to kind of switch gears and talk about a pop culture moment. You and Bad Bunny, he has a song, Booker T. Great song, by the way. I play it at the gym every Saturday when I'm DJing, and they absolutely love it. But I want to go back to Royal Rumble. We're sitting there, and there is Booker T or G.I. Bro standing there, just doing this the entire time.
Hey, bro.
Now, here's my thing.
As a check to do that.
We love GI, bro.
It was great because I texted Eli. I said, Booker T is jacked. I will mark out if the Royal Rumble goes, and you hear, can you dig it, sucker? And I was like,
hey, man,
please tell me he's going to come in the Royal Rumble. Was that ever a plan or?
No plan to do that or anything like that. I don't have any itch to scratch as far as getting back in the ring and wrestling or anything like that. I did a commercial just last week with the Houston Astros while I was throwing a bunch of my guys around. And man, after that shoot, I was like, man, I feel great, man. I mean, the adrenaline was flowing. And then I got home about 2 hours later and why is my shoulder hurt?
You felt it. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was like, what the heck is going on here? So it made me rethink that.
You're like, nah, I'm good. Like I thought maybe, because when we sit here, because we're wrestling fans as well, we're like, okay, well, maybe we're gonna get some like one-off Harlem Heat tag team match because they are going in the Hall of Fame. And then when I saw how jacked you were at Royal Rumble, I was like, he's about to be like a random surprise entrance, and that place is going to lose their mind.
I mean, they brought back some less jack people.
Hey, bro, look here. Let me tell you something. I'll be straight up with you. If the check is right, I'll show up. Okay, because for me, it's
got to be worth it.
No, and the thing is, it's not even about me. The check is for the kids.
Yeah,
and that's the only reason I would do it. Because I would take a bullet for my kid. I'd do anything I possibly could to make sure if it's some extra scratch laying around for him, and I was able to go out and do it safely, I'll go out and get it. I'll suffer being sore for a week or two. You know what I mean? But the check got to be right, like one of those Saudi checks. I could do.
Hey,
watch what you say. Hang on. Next thing you know, Vince will be on the phone. Hey,
be like, look, here's the deal.
I did the kickout show last week with Crown Jewel, and I planted a seed, and I say, next time I'm on my way to Crown Jewel.
Vince, send a jet. Send a jet.
It's gonna happen. I guarantee it's gonna happen. It's gonna. We're gonna see when it comes around for that next show. Booker T's gonna have a match.
Preparation is the only luck you're ever gonna have. So I'm in the gym training. I'm doing my push-ups. I'm doing my pull-ups. I'm on the bench. I'm on the squat rack. I'm training. So if anything was to jump, I will be ready no matter what. And that's what I teach my students. Like I say, preparation is the only luck that you're ever gonna have in life. Not just the ring, but I'm talking about in life. That's a life situation. Because if they came and knocked on the door and you wasn't ready, they go into the next house.
Yep.
Do you practice the spin-a-rooney every day too?
No, I don't. Again, it's a price for the spin-a-rooney. Look here, the price is going up. Anybody ever again?
You're gonna get the bookend or the spin-a-rooney. If you want both, you gotta pass that money off.
Kid, that you can afford that.
You ain't afford the spin-a-rooney.
That's incredible.
Takes. I remember somebody was like, I did a show that was not too long ago, and they was like, "Man, you got book, you got to do the Spinneroonie," and I said, "If you can afford to wait 3 hours, because that's how long it take me to warm up."
Oh man, that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's great.
The show was over in an hour and a half.
Oh man. So where can people keep up with you online? Where can people follow Reality of Wrestling? What's the best places to keep up with everything?
Reality of Wrestling, of course, we're on CW and a lot of different places. You can check your local listings. But we're on Right Now TV, and we're on Roku also. Especially, you can check us out on YouTube on a weekly basis, Reality of Wrestling /YouTube, as well as Fight TV. We're on there as well. Check out your weekly episodes of Reality of Wrestling. We do this thing on a weekly basis. We don't have like no off time or anything. We're like the daytime soap opera
Yeah.
spans, so like the mailman. So check out Reality of Wrestling. And for myself, Booker T5X on Twitter and on Instagram. That's pretty much where I do my work at, on Twitter, on Instagram. I try to stay away from Facebook because I don't want any of the old girlfriends, the old, coming looking me up.
Yeah, you don't want the queen coming after you. I
Oh, man.
I saw her on that A&E show where y'all were hunting down your stuff, and I was like,
Hey,
that guy not wanting to give up that robe, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't want to be on her bad side.
I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble either. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. Yeah.
Well, Booker T, thank you again. It is an honor to have you on the show, and definitely looking forward to that one night only in Vegas, Reality of Wrestling. Again, tickets start at $15. It's November 19th. Buy your tickets and watch the show, youtube.com/Reality of Wrestling. And again, Booker T, do we just do We're Not Worthy kind of right now? Because
I appreciate it. I know we got a new King and Xavier.
yes,
King X. We're gonna see how it work out. But always, forever, King Booker. We're always.
Booker.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Booker.
All right.